Whew. Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, so it's been a couple days since you last saw my shining face. But again, I'm on my cool down portion of my hike this morning. I think we got a little over 3 miles in today. No pack today. Stuff was feeling a little tweaked in the calf again, so trying not to re-injure or agitate. But last time we spoke about recovery in relation to the average person working a job. We mostly spoke about people that kind of sat for a great portion of their day and how that impacts them and how important it is to move and help recover your body, get those tissues more pliable and functioning and pumping and doing what they need to do. This time, I want to do the second part of that conversation. Let's talk about active individuals, athletes, those from the weekend warrior to your high school athlete, your collegiate athlete, your semi-pro soccer / any other sport, baseball kind of athlete, your professional athlete. Again, soccer, we deal with a few of those. Olympians, we've dealt with a couple of those. Let's talk about the importance of them recovering. And I'm not talking about nutrition. I'm not talking about the sleep aspect. Those are first and foremost to make sure your recovery's on point. But that's out of my wheelhouse, so not something I'm going to try and cover. What I will talk about is tissue quality and how you can work on that to get the best out of those tissues when you're training. So let's talk about what not taking care of or having a proper recovery looks like, and because that's the most important piece. If you have proper recovery and your tissues are feeling good, you kind of know what that looks like and what it feels like, how it performs. If it's not being recovered well, your muscles are going to be in more of a tight state more often. In other words, there's going to be a lot of tone to the tissue. Another term you might hear is hypertonic. And that means that the tissue has but so much room to contract. If you think of an accordion, how it has to suck in a bunch of air to play a lot of pretty music, that's what your muscles are like. And if your muscles are only opening up a little bit, like the accordion's only open up halfway, it only sucks in a little bit of air and it can only play a little bit of music for a little bit of time. So if you think about it in relation to muscles, if you're only getting a partial contraction, your output dramatically goes down quickly. That muscle will fatigue very quickly, which means it tightens up. And then you're potentially looking at some level of injury, whether that is an itis, tendonitis of some sort, inflammation of the tendon. Maybe you've already had that going on for a little while, and you're more of a chronic inflammatory response of, an osis, tendinosis or something like that. And then the worst case scenario, well, I guess you could also strain some fascia at that point, because if it's not expanding and contracting well. But then worst case scenario, you have a mild strain all the way up to a proper tear of muscle tissue. That's worst case scenario, and that's kind of what you're looking at if you don't work on your muscles. Make sure they're kind of staying supple. You should be able to take your muscles and do a little bit of a little jello wobble, and they should respond accordingly. There's typically healthy muscle bellies. The fascia is healthy, it's allowing it to move. If your muscle is just kind of like pretty stiff and rigid, let's get to work first and foremost, because you need to take care of yourself. And if you need assistance, then you can come into like a sports therapist office like myself at Myology, or at that point you may require some additional assistance with rehab for firing those tissues because they haven't been firing properly for a while, or they've been compensating so much that the wrong tissues are activating. At that point, you might want to look at seeing a physical therapist, a sports physical therapist more precisely, because not all clinicians are the same. That goes the same for massage therapists, chiros, PTs, all of us. We all have specialties. We all have things we do very well, and things that we're exposed to and things we're not exposed to. So I would advise you to look towards a sports-oriented physical therapist if you need help in that firing piece of the puzzle. Like for us, we work with Justin over there at Spark Physical Therapy and Scott over at Onward Physical Therapy. We've done some work with Epic. Those are some ones just around our area, and all of those are sports-specific physical therapists and great people to deal with. So let's get back into that tissue. As athletes, you don't necessarily recognize when that stuff is tight because it becomes a norm. It's just Tuesday for you, and you're like, I'm fine. You need to be working with someone that can help give you a second set of eyes on that tissue from time to time to give you input on where that tissue is. Is it to a point where it needs assistance? Are you good to go? You definitely want a second set of eyes if you're trying to be of any level of competitive for whatever you're doing. I don't care if it's pickleball. You still need to get it checked out. I mean, even more so in pickleball, and be honest with you guys, like, worked a pickleball tournament this past weekend, and the amount of short, quick, repetitive movements that are required in that sport are insane. And there are a lot of people that have not been active for a while thinking that's going to be an easy transition back into sports, and they go out there and next thing you know, they've got an elbow injury from quick rapid swipes at the ball. They've got an ankle injury. They've got an Achilles injury more so, or a high ankle sprain, or maybe even a calf strain / rupture to some extent. So, don't take your sports too lightly. There are always ways to be better at what you're doing, regardless of how light or how competitive you may be in that said sport. And thank you guys for joining on, because I see a lot of people that I recognize on here, and I greatly appreciate you joining in and taking some time out of your morning. But again, just trying to take some time out of my day as I get ready and prepared to go into work to offer myself up as a resource for questions, conversation, whatever that may be. We want to be a resource for our community virtually and locally. So if you do have questions at any given point, and you don't want to make them public on here in a public forum, that kind of thing, you can shoot us a message through our direct message box on Instagram, or you can shoot us an email at info@myologysportsmassage.com. And we'll absolutely answer all those questions as quickly as we can get to them. We've been getting some great responses, so thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. But let us know if there's anything that you specifically would like to talk about, and maybe on one of these morning hikes we'll cover that conversation. But until then, have a fantastic week. It's almost done. It's Thursday, not Friday, but it's Thursday. But have a fantastic week. Be good, be blessed, take care.